For decades, Silicon Valley has been seen as the heart of global technology innovation. But in 2026, its influence looks very different from the stereotype that dominated the last tech boom. The Valley is no longer just a place where startups chase rapid growth, disruptive ideas, and unicorn valuations at any cost. Instead, Silicon Valley is shaping the future of tech through a quieter but more consequential shift toward infrastructure, discipline, and long-term relevance. What's happening there in 2026 is less about hype and more about defining how technology actually operates in the real economy. One of the biggest ways Silicon Valley is shaping tech in 2026 is through a renewed focus on foundational infrastructure. During earlier cycles, attention gravitated toward consumer apps, social platforms, and fast-scaling services. Today, the center of gravity has moved towards systems that power everything else. Cloud infrastructure, AI compute platforms, networking technology, semiconductors, and enterprise software now dominate investment, talent, and strategic thinking. Silicon Valley firms are building the underlying layers that businesses, governments, and consumers will depend on for years, not just products designed to grow users quickly. This shift reflects a broader realization that technology has matured. Many of the easy wins are gone. Smartphones are ubiquitous, cloud computing is standard, digital payments, streaming, and e-commerce are established. In response, Silicon Valley is concentrating on making these systems more efficient, reliable, and scalable rather than constantly reinventing them. The future of tech in 2026 is being shaped by optimization rather than reinvention, and Silicon Valley is leading that transition. Artificial intelligence is central to this evolution, but not in the way it was initially imagined. In earlier years, AI was framed as a standalone revolution that would replace entire industries overnight. In 2026, Silicon Valley is embedding AI into existing systems rather than positioning it as a separate category. AI is becoming a layer that enhances productivity, reduces costs, and improves decision-making across software, hardware, logistics, healthcare, and manufacturing. The Valley's influence lies in making AI practical, scalable, and economically viable, not just impressive in demos. Another major way Silicon Valley is shaping the future of tech is through a shift in company behavior. The growth-at-all-costs mindset that defined the 2010s has largely faded. In its place is a stronger emphasis on profitability, capital efficiency, and sustainability. Startups are being built with clearer paths to revenue. Established companies are trimming excess, consolidating product lines, and focusing on core strengths. This change is influencing how technology is developed, priced, and deployed across the US market. Talent dynamics in Silicon Valley have also evolved. While the region remains a magnet for top engineers and executives, the nature of work has changed. Hybrid and distributed work models mean that innovation is no longer confined to a single geographic area. However, Silicon Valley still plays a critical coordinating role. Strategic decisions, product roadmaps, and capital allocation often originate there, even if execution is spread globally. The Valley functions less as a factory of code and more as a command center for the tech industry. Venture capital behavior in 2026 further illustrates Silicon Valley's changing role. Investors are more selective, funding fewer companies but supporting them for longer periods. The emphasis has shifted from rapid scaling to building durable businesses that can survive economic volatility. This has led to fewer flashy launches and more behind-the-scenes development of enterprise tools, infrastructure platforms, and specialized technologies. These investments may be less visible to consumers, but they shape how entire industries operate. Silicon Valley is also influencing the future of tech through its response to regulation. In earlier decades, regulation was often treated as an obstacle to be avoided. In 2026, many Valley firms are designing products with regulatory constraints in mind from the start. Data privacy, AI governance, cybersecurity, and compliance are now core design considerations rather than afterthoughts. This shift is shaping tech products that are more standardized, auditable, and enterprise-ready, especially in sectors like finance, healthcare, and government services. Another important trend is Silicon Valley's role in redefining hardware innovation. While software still dominates, hardware has regained strategic importance. particularly around AI, energy efficiency, and connectivity. Chip design, data center hardware, and edge computing devices are receiving renewed attention. Silicon Valley companies are working closely with manufacturing partners to optimize performance, power usage, and cost. This hardware-software integration is shaping the next generation of devices and infrastructure that support AI-driven workloads. Energy and sustainability are also becoming central to Silicon Valley's influence in 2026. Data centers, AI training, and cloud services consume enormous amounts of power. As a result, tech companies are investing heavily in energy efficiency, alternative power sources, and smarter resource management. Silicon Valley is helping shape technologies that reduce energy waste, optimize cooling, and align tech growth with environmental constraints. These efforts have implications far beyond the tech sector, influencing utilities, real estate, and infrastructure planning. Silicon Valley is also shaping how technology interacts with traditional industries. Rather than trying to disrupt everything from the outside, many tech firms are now working closely with established players in manufacturing, logistics, healthcare, and finance. This collaborative approach reflects a recognition that scale, trust, and domain expertise matter. The future of tech in 2026 is increasingly about integration rather than replacement, and Silicon Valley is driving that shift by positioning technology as an enabler rather than a challenger. Culturally, the Valley's narrative has changed as well. The idea of tech founders as rule-breaking visionaries is giving way to a more pragmatic image of builders and operators. Success is now measured less by user growth or media attention, and more by reliability, resilience, and long-term impact. This cultural shift influences how products are designed, how companies communicate, and how risks are evaluated. Perhaps the most important way Silicon Valley is shaping the future of tech in 2026 is through standard setting. Whether it's AI frameworks, cloud architectures, developer tools, or security practices, many of the norms that define how technology works globally originate in Silicon Valley. These standards quietly shape everything from startup ecosystems to enterprise IT strategies. Even as innovation becomes more distributed geographically, the Valley continues to influence the rules of the game. Looking ahead, Silicon Valley's role is less about dominating every headline and more about quietly shaping the systems that power modern life. It remains a place where critical decisions are made, long-term bets are placed, and foundational technologies are refined. The future of tech in 2026 is not being driven by flashy disruption alone, but by disciplined execution, infrastructure investment, and realistic expectations. In that sense, Silicon Valley is not losing relevance. It is evolving. Its influence is becoming deeper, more structural, and less visible on the surface. By shaping how technology scales, integrates, and sustains itself, Silicon Valley continues to define the direction of the tech industry, not through noise or hype, but through the systems that increasingly run the world.